Hi, everybody. Welcome to April's New Moon Live Gathering. We're going to do this in parts because it'll be much easier on me to kind of both be present and then also do some of the artwork. Hey, Cinda, thank you for joining us. And Jody, I know you were here as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by, love you too, sweetie. Mwah. We're going to start by talking a little bit about last month, and I'm going to show you the what I created that you all saw me start with. And then what we'll do is we're going to take a little break, and then I'm going to actually upload a upload a video that'll be kind of a watch party version of something that I already created. But I want to talk a little bit about why we do this and how this even really started for me. And that started really, as most of you know, with my book. And if you're here and you want to put a post, say where you're from, hit the heart button, let me know you're here. And if you're not here in person, you'll be able to watch the rebroadcast. I'll be posting that in an album. So you're not going to miss anything at all. Um, I've had a wonderful day. I was super excited to get going on this with everybody, and it's been a lot of trial and error for this woman, and not millennial, I might add. And it's been really fun actually trying to figure all this out. So, welcome. And for those of you who saw the intro, we had some Deva Premal playing in the background while I finished getting set up. So I want to start tonight with the poem that is in my book that really started my journey, which is kind of funny because this poem I found long before I ever knew that I was going to get a book published. And this poem is by the Terma Collective. And so it is called The Box Remembering the Gift. And in the book, it's on page 9 and it says The Calling. And the reason I think that this poem spoke so deeply to my heart at that time was that I was feeling a simmering in my bones, and a simmering that was something that was beyond really my knowing, and knowing what was to come. And what happened in that way was somewhat of a dissatisfaction with where my life was in that moment, and really feeling like I didn't really know what to do about that, because it was the safe job and the health insurance job and all the things that in our culture have a lot of heavy weight and a lot of meaning and make sense for most of us, in this culture that doesn't really support us for health and our well-being and all that. And so when I read this poem, I remember it sort of just hitting me like in my heart, like boom, like that's it. And so I'm going to start with this tonight. And if you want, just take a moment and get quiet within yourself. And after this, what we'll do is we'll move into the guided meditation. So we'll take a little break right after this poem, and then I will get us set up for the guided meditation. Okay, so if you're here, one last thing, um, leave a comment, send a heart, let me know where you're watching from. And as I said earlier, and once I switch to the other camera, I will not be able to answer any kind of questions or anything. So if you have a question, if you have something you want to post, do that before we take our next break. I'd love to hear from you. So here's the poem by the Terma Collective. What in your life is calling you? When all the noise is silenced, the meetings adjourned, and the lists laid aside, and the wild iris blooms by itself in a dark forest, what still pulls on your soul? In the silence between your heartbeats hides a summons. Do you hear it? Name it if you must, or leave it forever nameless. But why pretend it's not there? And that really, Sue is here. Hi, sweetie. Mwah. I'm so grateful you're here. Thank you for coming. Um, Hit the heart button. Tell us, Sue, who you are and where you're from. Um, and I'm going to read that again. And I want everybody to just sort of sit in with the words to that poem because they are so sacred and they are so really powerful. What in your life is calling you? When all the noise is silenced, the list laid aside, and the wild iris blooms by itself in the dark forest. What still pulls on your soul? In the silence between your heartbeats hides a summons. Do you hear it? Name it if you must, or leave it forever nameless. But why pretend it's not there? And so a lot of this work and my work for all these years has been about encouraging women. Most specifically, I do work with men, but most specifically, I work with women. And it's been about encouraging women to listen to that call and listen to it before it's too late. Listen to it before when it's still a whisper, like whisper, yeah, simmering whisper. Don't wait until it is a rip roaring howl because by then it's too late. So it's time for us to listen, to know, to respond. And the biggest part about this is when I think some of us feel like when we have a dream or we have a vision that if we tell someone, if we reach for that dream, if we go toward it, it means that, oh my gosh, now I have to do something. I have to quit my job. I have to do this. I have to, um, whatever it is, there's some sort of big consequence to me naming my dream or standing in my power or holding the power of my dream in my heart. But what I tell my students and my friends is it's when we stifle the dream that we're just kind of going through the motions. But by actualizing and naming and allowing the dream to come forward, we're honoring that this is a truth. It doesn't mean that tomorrow we have to quit our job. It doesn't mean that I have to leap off a cliff. Hey, Mary Rose, thank you for joining us. It means that all I have to do is honor the knowing that is in the deepest place of my heart. That's all. And as Mary Morrissey would say, we don't have to know how, right? The how is not important. And just so you guys know, I'm not like the person who's like Chicken Little, money's going to fall from the sky. I'm not that. But what I do believe is that when we have an intention, we have to at least give it space to move through us, right? Even if we decide at the end of the day, yeah, that wasn't really it. That's not really what I want to do. It's okay. We're allowing the energy to come forward and come through us. Okay. So that's really the basis of what this is all about. It's just allowing that beautiful energy to come through us. Okay. So what I want to do now is, and I'm hoping all of this is going to work out well. I'm going to start a watch party, which basically is going to take us to a pre-recorded video that I did that talked about my artwork from last month. And then what I'm going to do is after that, we're going to take another little break. And then we're going to get ready for our guided meditation. So let's keep our fingers and toes and every like, Liz, I got us. But this is all going to work out. As it feels like I really kind of set this up so it's going to work out. But the video that I'm going to show you is going to talk about this, which was last month's piece. If you remember, I was working on this. And then we're gonna switch to our guided meditation, and then we'll switch to all of us being able to work in our homes on our own and starting our work. And my plan is basically to kind of wrap this up at about 7, and no matter where we are, and then we'll continue that. And then what I'd love for everybody to do is then go ahead and post what it is your piece looks like. So a JPEG of your piece, and then share your intention for April with our community so that we can all support one another. Because, of course, we all know that the more energy there is, the better likelihood that this kind of energy will come forward. Okay, so let's take a little break and then go back to the front of the page. And then I'm going to start the live watch party by playing our video that talks about my piece that I just showed you from last month. And then we'll go into our guided imagery. So when we take our break between the next video, this is actually live right now, but the video I'm about to show is pre-recorded. So when we take our break between that and the guided meditation, it would be really good for you to have your whole everything ready. And really all you need is your journal, scissors, glue stick, magazines, and paint if you want it. But if you don't have paint, you don't have brushes, don't be discouraged. You can do whatever you want. Okay. So I'll see you in just a couple minutes. Thanks for being here.